was honestly such a treat. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
You
you.
guys are amazing. You inspire me so much.
Thank
That
you
was
so
Thank
much.
you.
I had a very hard time not screaming. That was good. When you pulled
literally
out the
like I was
OP1,
captivated for sure.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
beautiful stuff.
So we're gonna open up the space to get a little
Yes.
bit intimate and talk about some stuff.
Some pain, some
pain.
purpose, some pleasure. But let's go around.
All of
Let's
the
see. I
above.
see some new faces. Lisandra, it's nice to see you again.
Hi, how are you?
And Vinay, we met earlier. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? MCR is not a stranger to me and us. My name's Vinay, co-founder of the Better Days Club. Yeah, happy to be here. I do a lot, but creator at heart. So
What's Better Days Club?
So the Better Days Club is a platform dedicated to the cultivation of innovative dreams, connection, visionaries, you know? So how big can we get? That's kind of our motto, and we just like to execute ideas.
Okay, it sounds like there's a lot of purpose going on in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Purpose is the bridge, the gap of different communities of creatives. So
And
What inspired you to start
yes,
the Better Days Club,
exactly.
and what was like the vision behind it?
okay, if we're getting into tats, I mean that's a great question. I mean, it all started with like me being a creative and an artist at heart, and like just being scared to really go for what you want in life. So like I never really went for things, and then like people around me started going through weird stuff like death and like a lot of weird things. So I was just like, okay, life is short. Let me go out there and just like do the craziest thing I could think of. And me and my business partner Rain, my friend, we were just like, why don't we do a documentary and like bring artists together? So we kind of did that, and then it kind of ricocheted into the Better Days Club because everybody just
Sick.
started continuously doing things around each other, and then we filmed it all. So it became that.
Where do we watch that?
You can find us at the Better Days Club literally everywhere. Instagram, YouTube. We actually just dropped a short film for Halloween. We have another one coming out. Nobody else knows that.
Keep it.
But you can
You
find
have
us
a
everywhere.
project. You might
Yeah.
see someone you know on there.
Right?
Better Days Club. Don't miss it. Thank
Literally, of course.
you. And let's see. April.
Hi.
Correct? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that performance.
Thank you.
You have a stunning voice.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes. And your songs are just very nice to listen to. Like,
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. They
can
sound a
you-
little different, like most of them, in their final form with all the production and everything. But it's really nice to strip them back a little bit and like get to the bones of them again. Yeah.
I felt a lot of like, are you familiar with the Portuguese term saudade?
Yeah.
So I felt a lot of that.
Interesting.
There's like a longing in your voice, but
Cool.
it's like it's not sad. It's like how you explain the song. Like you'll hear me say I could die, but it's not a bad thing.
Right.
I really felt that.
Like
Yeah.
freeing almost, like a
Aw,
cry for
that's
freedom, but just because you are free.
Ooh. Yeah, I've definitely always felt like I have like a melancholy kind of heart, you know? But
Same
I've
here.
never thought that melancholy was a negative thing. Like
Right.
it's like, yeah, it is like a free is a
Saudade.
good, you know, like it is what it is, and it's not a sadness or a happiness about it. It's just kind of like an acceptance and a letting go.
It's
So
just like another
freedom.
emotion we go through. You know.
So
Mhm.
would you say like in your creative process, like since you've started, have you had that kind of like healthy relationship with your pain where it's like this is what I'm experiencing, and it seems like you found almost like the best way to channel it?
I think that, yeah, probably before I could even say that was the process that was happening, music has always been like that for me. Music has always been healing and meditative, and yeah, just like the natural channel for me, especially singing. I grew up like in choirs and stuff, and there's something really cathartic about using your voice and like your full body, like to the depth of it, to get it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's just like, it's physiological, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's all the things.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I
Thanks.
Uh, Music
And
is
Cesar.
definitely such a beautiful release.
Definitely.
Don't be sorry, be sexy.
Yes.
Check.
Heard.
Cesar,
with the
Hello.
OP1
Hello
yeah.
to
chops.
all of our listeners.
You're familiar with the OP1?
I am familiar with the OP1.
Oh, this guy knows his
thing
stuff.
is rocket science to me. So y'all are super badass. Like
It's him.
electronic music lovers, look up the OP1, understand how dope these two are. That was just so freaking cool. Yes. So, Cesar,
Hello.
how did you get so cool?
How did I get so cool?
Yeah.
I was made with love.
That's a beautiful
My
answer.
parents
Bars.
loved each
Bars.
other.
Oh, man.
They went through this process of making a kid, and they got my brother, which is also who is also made of a lot of love.
I love
And they
that.
had me, and we're both like made out of a lot of love. So
Does he make really dope music too?
no, he's more of a
Appreciator.
appreciator. Like he has great taste,
That's
and I feel
important.
like he has shown me so much music. Like I feel like he kind of shaped my taste in some
Okay.
ways.
So he's played a role in your
Yeah, for sure.
artistry.
There are no musicians in my family, but I feel like my brother and my grandfather, they both have like an amazing taste for music,
Okay.
and that kind of like, yeah. I mean, I got curiosity for playing instruments and like making songs and all of this, but I feel like my strongest gift, I would say, is taste.
Mhm.
No, like I don't feel like a virtuoso in an instrument, but I feel like I have good taste, and I know what I like.
Right.
Think-
Bad music exists.
Yeah.
Don't we all think we have good taste, though? Isn't
I
that
have-
just like your
yeah.
opinion, bro? No, I'm just kidding.
I have opinions.
What would you say is one of your biggest inspirations? Like, what inspires you to write, to create, to wake up every day and just continue to be in love?
This is a good question. I feel life itself, like everything that happens. I'm not writing a lot of music. I constantly have ideas, and I feel like a lot of the things, I would say like once a day something happens and I'm like, I can make a song about that, or like that makes me think of this song, or like this experience that I had relates to this other experience or this thing that I'm seeing today, and I should write something about it, or like I don't know, I feel like I am able to see creativity and beauty in a lot of everyday scenarios and situations. And I don't know, I feel like I have an urge inside of me that is just driving me to play instruments and create. And I feel like every day even if I'm not like writing or like working on music, I'm having ideas, and that's just part of the creative process, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love that. Great
And
answer.
kind of with that inspiration question, I'm kind of curious for everybody if there are kind of default or feelings or things that are easier to channel or gravitate towards. For example, like, I know Blue channels a lot of her pain in her creation, and that's I would say a big driving force is like your transmutation of that into your art.
Yeah, and also kind of like similarly to what she said earlier about being melancholy. Like I said last episode, how I kind of see my vibe as kind of like a beautiful sadness, kind of like you're looking through your memories and like you're feeling all of those feelings of having lived through so many things and experienced so many things and experienced so much love and like sadness, and it's generally, like a beautiful feeling, but there is that kind of underlying sadness that kind of like tugs on the heartstring. So
What about
mean,
you,
I-
Vinay?
I mean, for me, it's really interesting because I was thinking about feelings a lot today. Like I don't actively create music. I kind of experience it through others. And so I found it a little bit hard to resonate what I'm feeling. A lot of it is like, oh, I'm really happy today, or I'm really sad today, or I'm really angry. But I feel like my thing is really figuring out how to transmute that energy and release it. because the outlet used to be writing down on paper how I feel, which is, a song. But lately I haven't been doing that. So I actually want to open it up to you all. Like, I mean, how do you all release that energy and kind of put it into your art?
I feel like sometimes maybe it doesn't really necessarily come from the art itself. It's kind of like what Cesar was talking about. You just kind of have to like go through life and just remember the fact that you are the artist in general, and kind of just let the inspirations come to you, or just like find things in the mundane and like make things from them. And sometimes like the pain, or it's just like those are such overwhelming feelings. I feel like pain and like sadness can be like way more intense than like happiness sometimes, unfortunately, I guess. That it's like you're just so desperate to like put it on something that it like comes out quicker, like more like instinctually.
I resonate with that. I feel like I guess I can tell myself to sit down and write something, but like most of my, I guess, most authentic art came through when I was just like after or processing like an experience or an emotion, and it was just kind of like I released it. Like it was literally just like an energetic dump. Like I had to place this energy somewhere, so I placed it onto this beat or this piece of paper or something. And I guess, it's kind of like you said, a cathartic release more than anything.
Yeah, it's almost like a journal entry, like I was saying about Todo va a estar bien, that song that we played. In that moment that I wrote that song, I was like, I mean, heartbreak, it can seem so silly from the outside and so like, just kind of like cheesy, or it's easy to just brush it off from the outside, but when you're experiencing it, it can be really deep. And for me, through that experience, I got really deep into journaling. I found that was the only way that I could like start my day. Is like I woke up with like this anxiety and all these negative thoughts, and I was like, the only way that I can change them is by writing things down to myself and telling myself to be like get the negative out, and then switch it and tell myself what I should be thinking, and kind of like speaking to myself as if I were not myself, right? And so like that song also came from that, of like there was nothing else for me to do with all this energy but to put it in, as you said, to like something that kind of like a dump, but also something that served me, because then I could listen to it or sing it and just like have that cathartic release every time, like a journal entry telling myself,
I love that.
It's kind of weird.
That like it's in the past, and you created it, and you kind of like overcame it in a way, because it's like you have like the final product in front of you, and now like you could sing it and remember that from a moment like from the past, and like how you're like 5 years ahead, and you're talking about it as if like it's just something that.
And you also give it a home outside of yourself. So like, because I write music, I've performed as well, and like all of the sad songs I've written about breakups and all of these things, now I'll play them and I smile, because it's like, what a beautiful opportunity to have hurt so deeply.
I love that.
Well, and it serves others as well. And for me, that's been the most beautiful experience with that song, is like having friends who have not only gone through breakups, but who have lost loved ones and things, that are like, oh, that song is like getting me through this, and I'm like, what? That's so amazing.
It's amazing how you can like experience something, and like you were saying, it's kind of like an inner dialogue, like something that you wrote for yourself, but how it could still reach somebody else so deeply, and they can like, they almost feel like you're singing it to them in a way. And I think that's like super cool and like really powerful about music. And I feel like we kind of have like responsibility in a way.
It gives me a huge admiration for like non-vocal artists. Like I actually kind of want to hear from Lisandra and Cesar, because we have the privilege of literally being able to say how we feel. Like there are words that exist for most of the feelings we have, but then with visual art and with instruments, and I mean even with producing or creating a space for people, there's an intention behind that. And it always fascinates me how you get from this is what I want to present, but without words.
Yeah, I definitely feel like music is, like, just to go to that for a second, like music is so powerful in a weird way that like you can feel it like through walls. We were like hearing you guys, but it's like it my painting or like a tattoo was just sitting here, it's just like
Unless you're the,
you know, unless you're like in front, yeah,
in the chair.
no, yeah. But I still feel like art is relatable, like visual art is relatable in a way that like with music it could still like people could relate to it. Just like with an image, just like, oh, this reminds me of XYZ, you know.
It's also timeless. Like
Yeah.
the art on Wynwood walls, like I mean, unless somebody takes it down, like it lives on. So
Yeah.
I feel like art is forever. Like
Yeah.
art is kind of like, I feel like as an artist, creating art is kind of like our way of saying like, hey, like we were here, I lived this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a journal entry. It's like it's
Yeah.
capturing like a moment.
A moment in time,
yeah.
a memory.
Art is like kind of one of our last peepholes into like God, because science has gotten so advanced that like we can explain everything. You know, before it was like fire, God. You know, lightning, God. Now we have explanations for everything, but music and art is still that little window into the things that we just can't really contextualize.
It's like subconscious nature.
I love that.
So grateful to be able to do it. Honestly.
Yeah. I heard a couple of peepholes through pain. I like the word peepholes. I'm going to use that. I heard heartbreak. I heard like devastation, death. But something that I've been experiencing a lot, which I also find to be pain, is loneliness. So I'm interested to see, like, have you all like experienced that, and how does that translate through art as well? Because I used to be an artist, like singing, rapping, things like that. But now like creating communities is something that I more so do. And I find that maybe that was triggered by my fear of like being alone. So like instead of like just honing in on that, like I'm just gonna create a community. So like, how does loneliness translate for you all in terms of art?
I'm kind of down to touch on this. And also, I think we have like 5-ish minutes, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. But I feel like I've always been kind of like a loner in a way, and in a sense, like my lack of trust with others has kind of like kept me away from others in a way. But I feel like in a way, as I've grown, I've become more open to like receiving love and like being a part of community and stuff like that. And I feel like we've had conversations about this a few times about like how I guess like I protect my energy and like how I avoid certain situations and stuff as well. But I feel like loneliness isn't really a bad thing. I feel like people that are like comfortable and like see things a certain kind of way and like are actually like really sure with themselves kind of find themselves to be the most lonely in a way, if that makes sense.
Rip.
You know?
I feel that. I totally feel that.
Yeah, I agree. I think loneliness can be something that can serve you a lot. I feel like in my creative process, I started producing music by myself, and I had so much time for myself when I moved here. I didn't know anyone, and I was so focused on like building myself as a musician, as a producer, that for the moment when people came and I started being part of the community, all the time that I spent by myself sculpting my art and who I wanted to be, or like the music I wanted to express, I was so ready to share that with other people. And you need that a long time, and you need to be lonely at some point in your life to reflect, to have introspection, to know yourself, to understand who you are, and that's always gonna make you more of yourself, and that's gonna make you connect in a deeper way with more people, I believe.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It serves its purpose, I think, and I feel like at the end it brings us closer to love in ourselves, and I feel like
sure.
that's a beautiful like full circle way to like tie the conversation, is that we kind of like run from it in a way, but
Maybe it's not necessarily
No.
loneliness, but like
Or
I feel like it's more like
solitude.
solitude.
Solitude is a good way to put it. It's true.
Well,
it's the way you look at it.
Yeah, it's true. It's the perspective.
Definitely, like it's more like a solitude thing, because when you're alone and you tap into your art, there's like, it does not compare ever to like being like in a collaborative setting. I feel like when you're fully alone, well, obviously it depends. Like if you're in a band, like obviously you're relying on other people and shit. I don't know, but like when like just like focusing on one project like solely alone, sometimes like maybe like with certain music or like a painting, drawing, like certain things, like it just feels so different, like not weird in a way, and like it kind of feels good sometimes. I won't lie, personally.
I love being alone.
I love
man.
being
Low-key, I
alone.
love being alone too.
I
I
love being
appreciate it. I
alone.
appreciate people and connection and like being close and stuff
Yeah.
like that
Yeah,
too. I feel
exactly.
like
I was just talking before that like my friends had an intervention because I was like too alone sometimes, but it's just like good. I was just
Aw.
tapping in and
it's
like,
like I like
you know,
being
I
alone.
was like, guys, I made
Finding
all
too
this
much
though.
peace
You
in
know?
solitude.
No, but I had so much
I
to
feel
show
that.
for it after. You know, like I made so much in that
Look at all this
time.
art I just made
Yeah,
for you.
I was like, it was like for a reason, you know, and it's not like the love isn't there. It's like sometimes
Yeah, you gotta
you
tap
just
into
gotta
the
lock
cocoon
in,
sometimes,
kind
you
of
know,
thing,
or else you're gonna be a caterpillar forever. You know?
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
real.
Yeah, it's like I
that.
have some shit to say. You know, I gotta get it out, kind of thing. And maybe being alone is like you gotta talk to yourself instead of talking to other people.
Yeah,
That's so
because,
Well, it's
true.
like
you know.
I reference like Japanese culture because my loneliest times were when I was living abroad. I used to live in Japan for 6 years, and it was some of the loneliest. I mean, didn't speak the language, couldn't afford to do more than drink at home, and maybe take the train to like downtown once a week. And in the culture there, they think that every person has 3 sides to them, and they're all defined by like a face. So there's like the standing face, which is the one that we wear in public. This is how I think I need to be seen. This is how I present myself. It's like your social face, your ego. There's the one that's a little bit more reserved for your closest loved ones, and it's like those people get a little bit more of a sense of your deeper feelings and things. And then there's the face that only you see, you know? So you gotta tap into all 3 of those, I think. You know, I used to have a hatred for the standing face because I was navigating the social sphere over there. Like, I don't know what anybody's thinking, but now it's like, no, it's important to have a little bit of a separation, to have that time for yourself and only your thoughts, so that you can then have that perspective when you go back out into these other spaces. I think that's what solitude is for me. It's that grounding. So it's like, okay, I get pulled in all these millions of different directions on the day to day. I come back and restore. Yes, this is me. I'm good. I'm here.
That's
Get back
true.
out there.
I have the tendency also, I guess, since I do so many things and like I'm always interacting with people, I tend to like, I don't know, like absorb things from the exterior. So I definitely need a lot of alone time, I guess, to like remember,
regulate,
to regulate and
process.
process and like get rid of like what's not mine, and like remember to like ground myself and like center myself
True.
and find myself again, which is like very necessary. And I'm like learning how to be more assertive and like set boundaries in that manner so that I don't lose myself every time I
But when there's
love
balance,
someone.
it's perfect. You know?
yeah.
Balance is key.
Because community is important and solitude's important. You know.
Yeah.
We've gone from pain and purpose.
And we didn't even talk about
and now we're
tattoos, and I
pain
love
process.
that.
Well, now
Pain
we're
and
We all
pain
have
process.
cute tattoos,
you know?
though.
All right,
I love that.
flash round. Most painful tattoo. If you
And then we're done.
Foot.
Most painful.
Most painful tattoo.
Well, let's talk
Foot
about
sounds
Vinay's
gnarly.
only tattoo.
Yes,
But-
Vinay's
Oh,
only
yeah. So
tattoo.
my most painful tattoo is this owl that I got. My friend Jody Strokes.
Matching tats, matching
we're
tats.
Oh,
done?
she has an owl tat.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Oh, I love that.
Literally, I got I only am gonna get tattoos when it has like significant meaning. So this represents my ancestors. My grandma passed away.
I love that.
And then when she died, like the first dream that I had like the night after was of an owl hatching, and that kind of started my self-improvement journey. That's how like all of these wild ideas, the Better Days Club kind of formed, is off of me just going for it. So that's my
I
tattoo.
remember one of your lyrics in the song on the album was that you
Yeah.
kept seeing owls.
Yep.
And I remember like when I saw the owl, I'm like, oh my god, this adds like so much dimension and context to like the song now, and I'm like seeing, you know, like a more intimate side of you in the song. So thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Back of the calf.
Back of the
Oh,
calf. What is
Shit
it?
hurt. It's like a monster cave. I'll show camera. Camera?
It's a monster
And then,
Oh, damn. Okay, that's
wow.
sick.
yeah, that it
Very
really
detailed.
hurt. I didn't have Bactina and it sucked.
Was it the outlining or the shading that hurt more?
The shading, because the center is just like a void
Mhm.
kind of thing. So it's just like black.
Yeah.
For me, it's this Ouroboros that I have on my shin. Ouroboros is like life within death, death within life, death and rebirth. And I feel like, I don't know, for some reason, that's just something that I'm like super big on. And I had to pick the most complicated design with like a bunch of lines and like a shit ton of shading. Shout out to Tattoo Bam Bam for this tattoo. But yeah, it was definitely like, it felt like pain was the sacrifice for this lesson on my shin.
Right on the shin.
And then this knee tattoo.
Yeah, I
It's
thought that
just-
one would be.
That one looks
Yeah.
beautiful.
Bam Bam was literally like, you're a gangster, because only gangsters do shit like this. And I was like, now you know. I mean,
I love that the most painful one was like one that has such a crazy meaning.
I know.
Like, that's so.
That's why I picked that one, because I really feel like, especially in my music, I talk so much about like the battle like between life and death. I'm also a Pisces. If like you believe in that, Pisces is literally like the sign that's battling life and death, yin and yang. So makes sense.
Says how do you have tattoos?
Yeah, I
You
have
do?
the
You showed us?
tattoo I showed you guys.
Yes.
My forearm, but I also have this one here that is small, but it hurts so much.
That one
I,
hurt
I
more?
feel I have low pain tolerance.
That looks bold.
Yeah,
Bold.
yeah, and it's a design. My two last names are Rodriguez Plata, so this is like an R and a P. And my mom made the design actually, and her, my brother, and me got it like back to back in the same place.
love
Three of
that.
us.
So
I-
cool.
now that you say like this, is the most pain. I only have two. This is the most painful I got, and I think it's very meaningful because I love that my mom made the design. She's not an artist. She's creative, but like she's not. She came up with it, and we all loved it. So we were like, yeah, let's just do it. And I feel like something that connects me to my
Nice.
family.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Last one.
Painful tattoo.
The most painful tattoo is not my favorite one, but it's the one on my foot. I don't know if the camera can see, but it's this feather here, and
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know if y'all know how many
Very
nerve
painful.
endings you have in your feet.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it
And
was
its color.
so weird because like he's like tattooing it, and it felt like it was on my toes. Like I'm looking at my foot, I'm like, how am I feeling this on my toes right now? But that's like where the nerve endings are, so it's very, very confusing and
Very
do not
sensitive.
recommend. Wouldn't do again.
Yeah.
Heard.
I don't know if I'll do the
I haven't
feet.
done that yet. I don't think I
Mine.
will.
So mine, I can't show it, but the same thing I have on my arms, I have here on my leg, and then it's directly on those like cartilage points that like connect, and that
Hell no.
I've got my ribs, I've got my hip bone. Nothing amounts to that, like just that little ligament. Oh,
Like
my
right
God.
here, or like this one.
Both of them. Both of them. Absolute like bloody murder. I wasn't even screaming. I was laughing like the Joker. It was so bad.
Oh no.
Yes. Thank you, Leo.
That shapes you. That's the kind of pain that shapes you.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well.
On that note, that was a great ending. Thank you guys
Thank
for
you for
watching.
suffering with
We
us.
love
Thank you for
pain.
suffering
We
with
love
us. Thanks
tattoos.
for
Shout out
loving
to
with
Pain.
us.
Shout out
has
to Philip
been-
and MCR for having
Yes,
us.
thank you,
so much.
MCR. Thank you, Phil, Goon Green.
Shout out to
Shout
Blue
out.
for being such a wonderful orchestrator and
I
bringing
love you
so many dope
guys.
people
Love you,
together.
Blue.
Thank you
Love
all
you
for being here
guys.
for
today.
Shout
having
out to the
us.
Better Days Club.
And thank you all for
Nice.
watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Oh, ow! お疲れ様でした。